Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to TeamSport Sheffield, and as we get underway straight into our yellow flag test, yes, in that intro that was someone being shown how to steer the kart in the pits. So this was a Wednesday night adult race experience session. There was a group of members and a few that were non-members. And my aim was to continue getting my confidence back racing against members. I've learned a little bit about the new tyres. I thought they were prior to me starting to visit TeamSport, but it turns out at the end of May they were changed. Now my fastest lap on record is a 57.9. Now that was set on the old tyres, which had a softer compound and were more grippy. Everyone seems to have lost about a second or two off of their times, including all those qualifying for the BIKC. So I'm quite happy to be sitting around the 1 minute mark for the moment. Getting back under it is the challenge. Since the new tyres I have done that, I have done a 59.7, but that's just not always the case. Now that kart there was the one who was being taught how to steer, and they crawled around the entire time like that. Thankfully they did eventually start moving over to the side, and I don't think I caught them in the middle of the track like that again. But yeah, that was a moment there where I went to move to the right, realised there was a kart there, and pulled back over. So my aim is to be consistent and set some consistent lap times, preferably around the 1 minute mark. If it's higher, it's higher. If it's not, it's not. The flag tests in this session were really quick, and this is a genuine red flag. This isn't the flag test, we've already done that. Now I'm looking down a bit here because the tracking was actually ever so slightly out on the kart. It's obviously been in a bit of a knock, and this one was pulling ever so slightly to the right, but I decided it wasn't enough to warrant me going in and changing it. I didn't think it was going to affect me that much, especially as my focus was just to keep consistent lap times rather than necessarily be quick lap times. So there are 2 slow laps done, and now I have 9 more laps, well 10 laps including this one, at full pace with no further interruptions, and I'd like to see every single one of those being around the same sort of time, as that means I'm being Mr. Consistent, and that's what I need to see. I'm still not overly comfortable going through this lower section here. I feel I could definitely gain some time there, and that's the part that I'm going to start focusing on. Trying different lines, trying different things to try and make it that little bit quicker. But for the meantime, I just want to see these consistent laps. So you see that car is now starting to move to the side, although it had started turning in as I was trying to get through. So we're at that 101.5, it's alright. It's not quite where I wanted to be, I wanted to be down in the low 1 minute mark. But for now, that will do just fine, as long as I can keep doing that sort of time. Some of the members were very quick. I think they were actually ones who have qualified for BIKC, and if so, congratulations to them. And some of the guests, even in their own helmets, were a little bit slow and in the way. I gave an apology because I didn't actually mean to bump him there. I just lost concentration for a second, I guess. I don't quite know why. And just misjudged my gap alongside him there ever so slightly. I still love this section. It is my favourite section, all the way from the bottom ramp to this ramp again. And I do feel that that is my quicker part of the track. I'm quite confident through the first 2 hairpins, and I'm usually, although I'm inconsistent, I'm usually happy with this, going flat out through there. I'm inconsistent. Sometimes I brake, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I slide wide, sometimes I don't. I think I enter the corner the same every time. Yeah, that's one of those ones where I need the consistency. This hairpin I'm generally happy with, although the car always feels very slow up the ramps. But when you watch back the video, it doesn't feel as slow. It's really weird. And then yeah, this section, I love it. Flat out through most of it, just a quick dab of the brakes as you come down the ramp. And we're back round again. Another 101, another halfway through the 1 minute, 1 second and a half. I seem to be being consistent enough that I'm happy there. So, can we get quicker? That's the question now. Do I get enough time without an interruption to be able to get quicker? I'm sure if I compared laps side by side along here, through that lower section, they would be different. I've moved over. They've been behind me for a couple of laps now, getting closer and closer each time, so I thought I'd just let them pass. There's no point in me holding them up. That's a nice place where you generally won't lose much time. And no, I lost about half a second doing that. Not the end of the world. Still within that consistent lap time, and you can see how much of a gap he's already pulled out. So clearly he was faster and just wasn't fast enough to feel that he could pass me. He'd been sat behind for a few laps, I'd noticed him. So I let him through. There's that slow car once again. As I say, keeping to the side this time now though. And I have actually started to close the gap on the kart in front again, as I do really enjoy this back section. And I, yeah, definitely close up when I do follow karts, but then they just open up again. It's not just the difference in braking that's appearing to close it, although it does look like it more. Through that I do genuinely close up through that section. That hairpin I take a late entry, late apex, so I can straight line to get out of it slightly quicker. I think that works well, rather than if you run it smoothly and run wide and take a standard apex like you would there, you're then turning right next and you're making that turn tighter than it needs to be. So I think the way I'm doing that is correct. And again you can see, okay, they had a bit of traffic, but I've closed right up again. So as you can see, I'm very happy with being very consistent with my laps right now. All around that 101.5. Whilst not, as I say, not where I wanted to be, down in the 1 minute mark, I'm a second off, but I'm sure I can do something to find that second. Now I seem to have kept up with the cart in front that I had let through. I seem to have kept up with them a little bit more. And again, I close up slightly more through here as well, albeit they had a good run that time through there. And whether just the target of the faster car in front of me, I don't know, but managed to set my fastest lap. Only a 101, but it's a low 101. So that's 4/10 I've gained from the previous lap. That's fine. I didn't like when that car that's now in front with the white helmet passed me. He made no attempt at passing and just decided to bump me going up the ramp. I think he'd been there for a few corners, but still, that's not necessary. Like, if you'd shown your nose up the inside, I'd have just let you through. And you just made no attempt to get past. I got a little bit cross at that. It's just not needed. Either race cleanly, or don't race at all. Yes, you can bump draft the carts, but going up the ramps when you're trying to pass, bump drafting is not going to do anything for you. Slightly slower lap, purely because internally I was raging at that guy, I think. Keeping an eye always on traffic around me, using the opportunities from the hairpins to see if someone's coming up behind and if they're closing up, or in an opportunity where they've got onto the back but can't pass, in which case I will just let them through. But in this case there's no one there, and the group in front are fighting quite hard. I have waved this guy through because he did catch up a lot quicker than I thought he would, to the point that he was actually third fastest, on this first session with a 59.4. Definitely quicker than me. Clearing through the traffic, but obviously this is a slightly slow lap. I've let the guy through and I've hit the traffic. So we've got one more lap to get through. That guy, I was pleased with his awareness there. He knew I was alongside, left me the space rather than closing up the corner. Very happy with that. And I'm just trying to tack onto this car in front, but cannot keep up the pace. Now he did run wide through there, which is interesting. So maybe that is somewhere I can revisit now and have a look to see if I round it off and run to the outer edge, maybe I don't lose all that much time. Obviously I need the rest of the lap to be good to be able to check it, and maybe I can do a side-by-side comparison even with a lap using my line and another lap using the full line. And as that brings us round to the final lap, I see the marshal there standing with the checkered flag, so I know that's the end of my time. It does seem like a short session, so don't know quite why they were doing that tonight, but there we go. As always guys, thank you very much for joining. Please do like the video, leave a comment down below, hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications, and I'll see you next time for the second visit of this session. Cheers!